Hey, it's a beautiful day, the sun's out, so I guess we continue to talk on my terrace. What are we gonna talk about? Well, a few weeks ago I showed you some footage shot in 120 frames per second from the Canon 90D and the Canon M50. And I just shot some 120 frames per second footage with my Canon EOS R, and it feels good. What's up guys, Dan Forlani here and welcome back to a new video. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. If not, well, just hit the like button. Okay, let's jump immediately into the topic of today's video, which is slow motion in 120 frames per second. Last month I made a video, check it out when you get the chance, where I included two sequences, kind of like the same B-roll made with two different cameras. One with the Canon M50 120 frames per second 720p, and the other with the Canon 90D 120 frames per second but in 1080. To my surprise, I didn't find it very easy to figure out which one the footage from the Canon M50 and which the one from the Canon 90D, and even many of you guys were not able to guess it right. Most of you even thought that the footage shot with the Canon M50 was the one shot with the 90D. Well, because it looks good and maybe even better than the one shot with the 90D. But still, I'm not sure, you know. So let's say I'm gonna show it to you once again here, the one shot with the 90D and the one shot with the Canon M50. Well, I didn't have the Canon EOS R yet when I made that video, but I remember saying that the quality that comes from these cameras, the 90D and the M50, even though might not be acceptable for professional works, and I'm talking about the 720p of course for slow motion, 120 frames per second, might not be good enough for professional works. Still, for YouTube videos, it's more than acceptable. It's pretty good actually. And me too, I'm surprised of the result. And then I remember what I said, mentioning the EOS R, that it's a professional full-frame camera, one of the best ones, and it doesn't have 120 frames per second in 1080, but in 720p, and it looks like nobody's using it. But I believe that for YouTube, it's pretty good. At least what we have seen coming out of the Canon M50 is pretty acceptable. It's not bad at all. For some of you, even looks better than the 120 frames per second in 1080 of the 90D. So what I did for this video, I tried to reproduce a kind of like the same footage that I shot with the M50 and the 90D, but with the EOS R. Check it out. So what do you think about it? What you have seen is the 120 frames per second of the EOS R, which is in 720p. All over YouTube, it looks like nobody's using it, or almost. Sometimes they even forget that there is the option to shoot 120 frames per second because it's in 720p. I want you to judge. What do you think about it? Because now you have seen kind of like the same footage. I tried to make it like the same, but even if it's not exactly the same, but almost. So what do you think? Would you rather use 120 frames per second with the M50 in 720p, or with the Canon 90D in 1080? Or with the EOS R in 720p? Just let me know in the comments down below, and since you're there, hit the like button. Don't forget to check the links in the description where you can see all my gear and prices and availability and stuff. These are associate links. If you buy something from there, from those links, I might get a small commission and no extra cost to you. Anyways, in this video, I just wanted to show, actually I just wanted to see it myself in the first place, what 120 frames per second footage shot with the Canon EOS R, therefore in 720p, looks like, and compare it to both the 1080, the 120 frames per second in 1080 of the 90D, and the other of the Canon M50 in 720p. In the next videos, I'll be testing also the slow motion 60 frames per second, like shooting 60 frames per second and then slow it down in post. But not in this video. Here I just wanted to test the 120 frames per second. Alright, how does it feel to be able to choose from 3 good cameras, such as the M50, the 90D and the EOS R when it comes to shooting B-rolls? Well, as I said in the beginning, feels good. I guess that's it for today. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you ain't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.